Okay, so we've got our first plant of this series is thyme, Thymus vulgaris, and this is our very happy thyme patch here at the garden. You'll see it's a very small leafed plant. There are a lot of different cultivars of thyme. What you want to look for is one that is aromatic and not highly hybridized for other flavor compounds. Really just look for a standard French or English thyme. When you select for specific characteristics, as with the nutmeg or orange or lime or variegated or creeping or any of the other selections that are made in hybridization to make different plants with different habits, you potentially are weakening the medicinal effects of the plant, right? Because you're selecting for characteristics which don't have a lot to do with the healing qualities. And so if you're not paying attention to that, it may go away and we don't know about that. So it's always a wise idea whenever you're buying your plants to make sure that you are getting the least hybridized forms, the least messed with forms. This is another reason why it's really nice to get seeds from places like Horizon Herbs up in Oregon. That's where I get almost all of my medicinal seed plants, and they're fabulous because Richo is very, very deliberate in having only open pollinated plants. He's not growing clones. He's not selecting for anything other than the strongest and healthiest and most aromatic and most vibrant plants. So whenever I get plants from him, I'm always very, very... So, now I was going to talk about thyme, but maybe we'll just have this be an introduction to our to one of our beds, because there's some fun stories around here. So here we have some sage, Salvia officinalis, and you can see that there are bugs that just think this thing is delicious. You really, really, really love it. And, who can blame them? So we have options, right? We could spray this and it would kill the bugs, and it would not be very healthy for us. And it's there's an abundance of sage there. I can let a little bit of the foliage go to my bug buddies, and I know if they think it's good, it's probably good. They eat a lot of plants. So yeah, a little bit of foliar nibblage there, and if I'm making tea for myself, I'm just going to take that and I'm going to make tea out of it. I don't care if there's bug saliva in my tea. Really, I don't. There are worse things in our food supply than a little bit of bug saliva. When I make medicine, I'm going to choose foliage like that. I want to choose foliage that's really beautiful and really speaks to the quality of medicine that I want to make. But quality of medicine, there's different qualities inherent in acknowledging that I'm sharing the plant with bugs, right? There's perhaps less chemistry and more woo-woo-ness, but it's important nonetheless. So here's our sage, and it's a pretty happy one. And then right next to it we have the ever-growing and spreading oregano. Oregano vulgare. This is a nice, spicy, hot plant, and it tends to grow, and as it grows, it's sending down these adventitious roots down here. Look, you can see it's anticipating. It's not even on the soil, but it's anticipating hitting the soil, so it's forming those roots. And its roots, where are we? There we go. Its roots aren't even at the nodes. Right? Its roots are all along the stem. Most of the time, roots are going to extend from the node right there where the I'm having a hard time getting this video technology down, but I'm getting it. I just either have to look at the plant or I have to look at the the camera, and I'd rather look at the plant, but I guess I can look at the plant through the camera. Okay, so most of the time when a plant is forming new roots, it'll form it at the nodes. This plant is so eager to grow and spread that it's forming roots all along. So as soon as those roots come down and hit soil, they're going to go plunging down into the soil, and they are going to grow a new plant. And that's why all of this plant right here is spreading so well. So it does that. This is lemon balm, another Lamiaceae plant, Melissa officinalis. And it'll do the same thing, though not to such a great degree. What we have here, because it's not quite so eager to spread as the oregano is, we've done some layering right here. Let's see, let me see how I can get it on my phone. Is that it? Yeah, okay, that's it. So this is layering. We've taken a low-growing branch of the plant, and we've laid it onto the ground. I took the leaves off and exposed the nodes, and when I took the leaf off, I kind of damaged the node just a little bit. When we damage the node, that's going to stimulate new growth hormones to that area. It's going to stimulate new root growth. So I'm going to just eat this leaf, excuse me. So I've exposed the nodes, and I've laid it down into, I dug a little channel right here, and then I laid the stem into the channel with that wounded side down and the exposed nodes down, so that they're going to grow roots down into the soil. And then I have a little rock here that's kind of holding that down. Now, because I haven't separated this from the mother plant, right? It's still separated, so it's getting nourishment, it's getting moisture, it's still a part of this plant, so it's still going to grow. But it's also going to grow roots down here, because that's what plants do. So we've got about 8 nodes all along here. We've got 8 nodes that were exposed and put down into the ground. Hopefully, theoretically, we could get 8 little plants coming from here. So yarrow is one of the I think one of the most important plants to have in a healing garden. Number one, it's really easy to grow, so you'll feel all green thummy when you grow it. It will grow in a wide range of environments, but if it's in full sun, as this one is, it does need a moderate amount of water so that it will provide flowers, and it will be it'll be a happy plant that grows really high. When we see the plant in native environments in this area, it generally tends to be a much smaller plant. It's low growing. It doesn't spread as readily, right? Because it's marshaling its resources. It doesn't have the resources that this plant has in terms of compost and water and all of that, and some protection from the environment. So it's a more harsh environment, and it's going to struggle. It makes for stronger medicine, as is true for most plants. When we take them from environments that are stressed, when they are stressed, they are likely to produce a higher amount of therapeutic compounds. And you can taste it, especially in the flowers. You can taste the aromatic qualities are considerably enhanced in wild yarrow. That being said, the majority of yarrow, well, I don't know about the majority. I'm going to take that back. I'm not going to say the majority of yarrow. A lot of yarrow grows in cultivated areas. What is this? I'm just pulling. This looks like a dead root system. Oops, sorry. Sorry about that. It was mostly dead. It was only mostly dead. There's a little plant there. I'll take it home and I'll transplant that. Sorry, what was I saying? The plant likes to grow in cultivated areas. It likes to grow in lawns, and it likes to grow in wild areas. It likes to grow, excuse me. So it's a nice plant to have around. It's abundant, and it's extraordinarily useful in terms of its first aid capacity, its uterine support, its digestive support, its beauty, its protective effects, working with it energetically. It's just, it's a fine, fine, fine plant. If I were going to go into it right now, we'd spend about 2 hours, and I don't want to do that with any of these. I just kind of want to give you a little look around. So, so there's yarrow. Go look into yarrow, or look at some of the fabulous other videos that are out there that talk about yarrow. I'm guessing Yarrow Willard has a yarrow video, and if not, then why not? So there's our lemon balm, and there's our oregano, and there's our sage, and here is our thyme. We're back at the beginning. So all of these are Lamiaceae family plants. They're all very closely related in the mint family. Let's see here. There's mint in the mint family. Let's see. And we have some other things. Here's Monardella, which is one of our native plants, and that's in the mint family. And there's other ones. Really, I want to talk to you about the thyme. I keep on getting distracted because of all the other pretty things, but let's talk about thyme. Thyme is one of the handiest plants to have around, and one of the most useful medicines, especially thyme tincture, is just a nifty thing to have around. You can do so much with a quart of thyme tincture on hand. It's a good thing to have around. So you grow thyme, it's happy, it's abundant. In our climate, it's going to grow year-round, and you can harvest it year-round. It is said that in Lamiaceae family plants, when the plant just starts budding, the essential oil content is the highest. And if you're looking for the volatile compounds, then you want to wait just when those flowers start to appear. That being said, there's a lot of other compounds in plants other than the volatile compounds, and I harvest it anytime. So I'm going to go over it. How am I going to do this? Let's see. So I'm going to go to the outside of the plant, and I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom and clip. I'm trying to do this with one hand, which I wouldn't generally do, but I'm trying to do everything. There we go. So I've got yarrow. I'm going to put it on my drying tray. Drying tray is really handy to make a drying tray using one of the always available plant trays, and then some cotton muslin over it. Okay, so my phone keeps on overheating because it's hot and it's sunny, and it overheats. So we'll finish this up here, and then we'll go inside. So here is, I went through and harvested, lifting up the sides and going down to the base. Sometimes you can't lift up the sides. It's anchored in place. Here you can see I lifted up some. Here the nodes have gone down into the soil and they've rooted. So this is going to be a new plant here because it's spreading. This one also does relatively slowly, but it does spread. There's another new plant right there. So we could go in a little while and clip these here, pull these out, and replant them as little baby thymes. And we will probably do that to share the love. So I've harvested some of the thyme. I could harvest it. You want to cut pretty hard back. See how I cut way back in here? I wanted to go all the way down to the base and cut right down there at the base, because I don't want a lot of this woody material growing and growing and growing. The more you get a woody core growing in the Lamiaceae plant family, the less new growth you get from that woody core. And you see that in some older plants. They get woodier and woodier and woodier in, that's hard to say 3 times, woodier in the center, and then the flowering part moves along this woody branch, and eventually it dies from the center, and you have a dead plant, which happens, but we would like to delay that happening as much as possible. And the way to do that with the Lamiaceae, with sages, especially with lavenders, we see it a lot with lavenders, and I see it a lot with thyme also, is to just really cut all the way back so that there can constantly be new, greener growth. So I harvested, kept it on this muslin-lined container. These are nice because I can stack them. So I've got this one this way. I can take the next one and rotate it 45 degrees and stack it above here and do that over and over and over again. And I can have a tower of drying trays there, and there's air flow in there as long as you don't pack them too full. So I've got this harvested, a bunch of this. I'll take this home and garble it, and we will make, some tincture? We'll make some tincture.